When you let go, everything changes. Section 1, the nature of attachment. Have you ever held something so tightly that your fingers began to ache, yet you still refused to release it, afraid that if you did, you would lose everything? Most of us have. We hold on to people, memories, opinions, possessions, even our own pain. We call it love. We call it loyalty. We call it ambition. But in the quiet truth of the Buddha's teaching, what we often cling to is nothing more than the illusion of permanence. Today, let us journey into the very heart of that illusion, to understand why we cling, how attachment forms, and why letting go is the beginning of freedom. The mind that clings attachment, in the language of the Buddha, is upadana, the grasping or fuel that keeps the wheel of suffering turning. It is not love itself that causes pain. It is clinging to love, the fear of losing it, the desperate wish that what we enjoy will never end. From the moment we are born, we begin to reach out for warmth, for safety, for comfort. This reaching is natural. It helps an infant survive. But as we grow older, the same reaching becomes subtle and psychological. We reach for approval, attention, reputation, control. We attach our identity to what we can possess. When the Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree, he saw this cycle clearly. He realized that every form of suffering arises from craving and attachment. From craving comes grasping. From grasping comes becoming. From becoming arises birth, means in death, to raw and lamentation. This teaching is not abstract. It describes the tension inside every human heart. Think of a time you wanted something badly, a person's affection, an achievement. Before you had it, you worried you might not get it. After you got it, you feared you might lose it. Between desire and fear, the mind trembles, never resting in peace while we hold on. We hold on because we mistake impermanence for failure. Somewhere inside, we believe that if something ends, it means we did something wrong. We do not understand that impermanence is the natural law of the universe. Everything is in motion. The stars burn out, rivers change their course, and even the body that listens to these words is aging, moment by moment. Yet the mind resists. It whispers, just a little longer. We cling to relationships that no longer nurture us, to identities that no longer fit, to emotions long past their season. Why? Because attachment gives the illusion of stability. It tells us I am someone because I have this, because they love me, because I achieved that. When those outer things change, as they must, our self-image shakes. We mistake the crumbling of the illusion for the loss of ourselves. But who we truly are cannot be lost. It is the still awareness behind all experiences, the witness that remains when everything else changes. Attachment disguised as love. Many people fear that to let go means to stop caring. They think non-attachment is cold, distant, or emotionless. This is one of the great misunderstandings of Buddhist wisdom. True love is not possessive. True love allows freedom. When we love with attachment, we say, "You must stay the same for me to be happy." When we love with awareness, we say, "May you be free, even if that means you change or go." The Buddha never taught us to suppress love. He taught us to purify it, to remove the poison of grasping. Non-attachment is not the absence of feeling. It is the presence of wisdom. Imagine holding a bird in your hands. If you clutch it too tightly, you crush it. If you open your palms, it may fly away, but it may also return freely. That openness is what the Buddha called metta, loving kindness born from freedom, not fear. The cycle of craving or tanha functions like fire. The more you feed it, the larger it becomes. Desire never says enough. When one wish is fulfilled, another appears. We crave pleasant experiences and push away unpleasant ones. We build entire lives around chasing one and avoiding the other. But pleasure and pain are two sides of the same wave. To cling to one is to invite the other. This is why the Buddha compared craving to drinking salty water. It may soothe a thirst for a moment, but it makes us thirstier still. Ask yourself, what are you drinking today that makes you thirstier? Recognition, perfection, control? Each sip promises satisfaction and delivers emptiness. The illusion of control attachment thrives on the illusion that we can control life. We try to shape people's opinions, manipulate outcomes, preserve youth, secure wealth. But control is a mirage. Life moves like a vast river. We can steer our little boat, yet we cannot stop the current or decide where every drop should go. The harder we fight the flow, the more exhausted we become. Non-attachment does not mean passivity. It means participation without obsession. You still row, but you no longer curse the river. You act wholeheartedly, but you release the expectation of results. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said to Arjuna, "You have the right to work, but not to the fruits of work." The Buddha would agree, perform your duty, cultivate compassion, but let go of the desire to control the outcome. How attachment shapes identity. Each attachment creates a small prison of me and mine. I am a teacher. I am successful. I am this person's partner. When those identities are threatened, suffering appears. If someone criticizes our work, it feels like a personal attack. If a relationship ends, it feels as if we have died. But what truly dies is not us, it is the image we built. The Buddha invited us to see that identity is a process, not a fixed thing. The body changes, the mind changes, the roles we play change. What we call self is a stream, not a statue. To hold tightly to a self-image is like gripping water in your fist. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips away. Freedom begins when we dare to ask, who am I if I stop clinging? What remains when I let go of all definitions? In that questioning, something vast opens, a silence that feels like home, emotional attachment and suffering. Emotional attachment often hides under the words care, concern, or responsibility. Parents cling to children, lovers cling to one another. Even spiritual seekers cling to their teachers or practices. It's not the relationship that binds us, it's the fear underneath. Fear of loss, fear of being alone, fear of insignificance. When we fear loss, love becomes anxiety. When we fear being alone, friendship becomes dependence. When we fear insignificance, work becomes obsession. Letting go is therefore not an act of rejection, it is an act of courage. It means we trust that love will survive even without chains. It means we trust that life will continue even without control. Cultural attachment and collective ego attachment is not only personal, it's collective. Nations cling to borders, religions cling to doctrines, groups cling to us versus them. These attachments create war, division, and prejudice. Buddha's path of liberation is universal because it dissolves these walls. He did not say, be Buddhist to be free. He said, see clearly and you will be free. When we cling to being right, we become blind. When we cling to belonging, we exclude others. Non-attachment opens the heart to compassion beyond tribe or creed. Imagine if humanity let go of the need to always be superior. How much suffering would end overnight, the energy of grasping? You can feel attachment as physical energy in the body, tightness in the chest, contraction in the stomach, heat behind the eyes. It is literally tension made flesh. Next time you feel anxious about losing something, pause and observe your body. Notice where you are holding on. Breathe into that spot. With every exhale, whisper inwardly, "It's okay. I can let this go." You will sense how grasping is a form of resistance and how letting go is a return to flow. The moment before release, there is always a moment, a delicate instant between holding on and letting go. That moment feels like standing on the edge of a cliff. We don't know what will happen if we release, but that edge is sacred. It's where faith is born. Faith not in an external deity, but in the Dharma, the natural order. When you trust impermanence, the fear of falling turns into the joy of flying. Letting go does not happen through force, it happens through understanding. Once you truly see that clinging only brings pain, the hand opens by itself. Seeing attachment as a teacher, do not condemn yourself for being attached. Even attachment as a teacher, it points directly to what you have not yet understood. Each time you feel the sting of loss or jealousy, ask, what am I afraid to lose? What story am I protecting? That question transforms suffering into awareness. The Buddha never said, destroy attachment by violence. He said, understand it. When the light of understanding shines, ignorance dissolves naturally, awakening through impermanence. Everything you love will eventually change form. This is not tragedy. It is the rhythm of existence. The cherry blossom falls not because it is weak, but because it fulfills its purpose of beauty. In the same way, every moment fulfills its purpose and passes. Meditate on impermanence daily. Watch the sunrise and know it will fade. Feel your breath rise and fall. Witness thoughts appear and disappear. This contemplation does not make life bleak. It makes it precious. Only when you accept that everything ends can you fully appreciate that everything is here now. Non-attachment and presence. To be non-attached is to be present. Attachment lives in the past and future. Regret for what was, anxiety for what might be. Presence